Hello, good evening. Welcome to North West Tonight, Monday evening. I'm Roger Johnson. Thank you for joining us. Our top story. 15 people are injured as a double-decker bus has its roof torn off after hitting a bridge.
I first, heard what I thought was an explosion. I was saying the roof's off, and I thought like a building blew up by, the sound it made.
Paramedics and 2 air ambulances were called to the scene in Salford. We'll have the latest for you live. Also tonight, helping people regain their independence. We'll take an exclusive look at the Manchester Centre treating amputees. Day trippers, 8 days a week. The Beacles tourist attraction that's got some residents and visitors up in arms.
We came from far, far away, and for most of these people, it's the only chance they're going to have in their life to come here.
As the sun sets on Portrush, preparations ramp up at Royal Birkdale for next year's Open Championship.
And for some, warm sunshine to start the week off with. For others, sharp downpours, thunderstorms in places. How are we doing this week? Join me at the end of the programme. I'll give you all the details.
Well, first tonight, those shocking pictures from Salford where 15 people have been injured as a double-decker bus had its roof torn off after hitting a bridge at Eccles in Greater Manchester. The incident happened at around 3 o'clock this afternoon. Let's go live to the scene. Anna Jameson is there for us. Anna, I know you've been speaking to people there. Just bring us up to date with the latest of what happened.
Yes, well, as you say, Roger, it happened just after 3 o'clock this afternoon when the 100 double-decker bus from Warrington to Shude Hill rips through the Aqueduct Bridge, and the bridge behind me actually carries the water for the Bridgewater Canal. But the remnants, and you may be able to see it behind me, left the top of the bus completely ripped off. 15 people were injured at the scene. And we understand that 3 of those passengers are seriously injured as well. Paramedics were here treating people, and we heard sounds of a huge bomb. That was according to some residents who live nearby. Now, 2 air ambulances were on site as well. I spoke to a driver who was actually behind the bus at the time of the incident. He was too in shock to speak on camera, but he says that he saw a passenger fly off the top deck and onto the road. People here are clearly upset about what's happened, and they've been speaking to us today.
Then I, hear panicking, people, quickly rushing out the car, rushing out the bus, all the neighbours going outside with water, bandages.
It's not the first time it's happened. It's quite a regular occurrence, but I think this time the injuries are more severe.
Shocked then, Anna, as you say. Not the first time, though, that this has happened.
No, we know that it's happened at least once before, back in 2023, but this is the first time that the bus has actually managed to drive straight through. In the past, it's been wedged in the bridge, and lots of people here are clearly shocked by what's happened. It's the summer holidays, lots of children upset as well about the pictures they've seen. There are still road closures in place and will continue to be in place in the Barton area of Eccles for the rest of the evening. Roger.
Anna, thank you. Anna will have the latest on our late news at 10:30 tonight. Now, dozens of residents have been told to leave their flats at Kirby today after concerns were raised by Merseyside Fire and Rescue about the safety of the buildings. Flat owners at the Willow and Beach Rise tower blocks say they've been through years of hell, spending money on repairs and asbestos removal. The building's landlord says that residents are responsible for their upkeep and management, as Davinia Ramos reports.
We deemed that the building unsafe to live.
For the last 7 years. For the last 7 years.
I don't know the ins and outs.
I'm telling you the ins and outs. 7 years now. This place has been unsafe, and now you've come here today to throw me out.
This is when 72-year-old Dave Hemmings was told to leave the home he's lived in for the last 7 years. He, like many others, are having to pack up and go.
We should not now be homeless because of other people. They've had the money, and they should have used it the way they were supposed to use it. This building should really be immaculate, the amount of money. They've had hundreds of thousands of pounds. Tonight I'll probably go to my sister's, and then hopefully the council might find me a place. I don't know. At the moment, I've got nowhere to go.
The lifts have been out of order here at Willow Rise for months. There's damp, and Dave's had no electricity in his flat since November. Earlier this year, these flats, along with Beach Rise, which is a block of flats adjacent to this one, were deemed unsafe by Merseyside Fire and Rescue. It comes after a number of failures by the buildings management companies to carry out the correct works to improve fire safety, amongst other issues here, and ultimately has meant that residents have been told to leave today. Currently, the freehold is owned by TR Marketing, which the BBC has tried to contact but had no response from. Merseyside Fire and Rescue said it had no choice but to order the closure of the buildings in the absence of any suitable plans to remediate the fire safety shortfalls. Michael and Elaine bought flats in the building almost 20 years ago and still have to pay the mortgages, despite the fact it's being closed and their tenants have moved out.
Feel more for the people who are having to move out. I mean, that must be traumatic for them. To be forced to move, short notice, no options, it's horrendous.
We were sold a dream, basically, and then it became clear come to 2011 when the bills went from something like £900 odd to £1,500, and then they've just skyrocketed ever since.
As leaseholders, you know, we've just got an endless sort of hamster wheel of worry. We can be paying these mortgages for goodness knows how long, because nobody knows what's going to happen to these buildings now.
The buildings might not be in the best state, but these were people's homes. Homes they never wanted to leave. Davinia Ramos, BBC North West Tonight in Kirkby.
Next tonight, the brother of a man who's accused of assaulting 3 police officers at Manchester Airport has told a jury a police officer was choking his brother and he had to defend himself from the same officer. Mohammed Ahmad is alleged to have punched an officer 6 times when an arrest was being made of his younger brother. Let's go live to Yunus Muller. He was in court today listening to the day's evidence. And Yunus, tell us more about what the jury heard today.
Roger, Mohammed Ahmad was giving evidence as part of his defence case here at Liverpool Crown Court. Prosecutors say that his younger brother, Mohammed Fahir Ahmad, resisted arrest and assaulted 3 police officers and a passenger just minutes earlier, and that Mohammed Ahmad intervened and both brothers used a high level of violence. Now, Greater Manchester police officers had entered the car park pay station area, Terminal 2, after reports that a man had been headbutted. Mohammed Ahmad said they came in, said nothing, pushed his brother forward into a ticket machine. He couldn't understand, he said, the level of aggression that was being used. He said at one point his brother was being choked. So he said that what followed was as a result of that, he put his hand on his shoulder, the officer's shoulder, tried to de-escalate the situation by saying easy, but within minutes he felt a blow and that they both fell to the ground. He said he could see punches, feel punches, holding and grabbing, and that he had to defend himself. Now, under cross-examination, Adam Kirby put it to him that in fact it was him who had grabbed the officer with his arm around his neck and shoulder and had tried to pull him to the ground. He then took the jury through the 6 punches one by one. He said that first punch was retribution because Mohammed Ahmad had been elbowed by the officer. The other 5 were offensive punches. Now, Mr. Ahmad disagreed. He said they were defensive punches. He then said to him that you were simply pummeling him with 6 punches when he's in no position to defend himself. I disagree, said Mr. Ahmad. Now, both brothers deny all the charges against him.
Yunus, thanks very much. Yunus Muller there, live for us at Liverpool Crown Court. Right, here are some of the other stories that are making headlines in the northwest tonight. And police searching for a missing woman from Cheshire say they found a body in a lake at Oakmere. Underwater search teams were looking for 38-year-old Rachel Booth from Northwich after she was reported missing on Saturday. Her family's been informed and there are not thought to be any suspicious circumstances. Engineers are working to restore gas supplies to hundreds of homes in the Pendlebury area of Salford. The gas network operator Cadent says that customers have been left without a supply after water leaked into the network. Help is available for residents at the Royal Sovereign pub. And the St Helens comedian Johnny Vegas is set to star in a stage adaptation of the BBC sitcom Ideal, celebrating the 20th anniversary of the show, which is set in Salford. Vegas will reprise his role as small-time drug dealer Moz. The show, appropriately enough, premieres at Salford's Lowry Theatre in September.
It's still the show I'm proudest of, and they'll come up and they'll still quote the show to us. There's more story to be told, and we had a writer. It's rare that you get a writer that's going, I've got more episodes in me and I've got more, and you go, let's do a live one, and let's honestly do it for the fans.
Now, pollution and the state of our rivers and waterways is a topic which we have reported on many times on this programme, as you will know. Well, today, as you may have heard, the government's announced that the water regulator is to be replaced as part of a massive overhaul of what it describes as a broken system. It follows a highly critical report into the water industry. Our environment correspondent, Judy Hobson, is here. She's been reading the report, and you've got details of what it might mean for us in this part of the world, Judy.
I have, thank you, Roger. Yes, the report made 88 recommendations in total, with the biggest one being the creation of a single water regulator to replace Ofwat. Now, this morning, the government confirmed that will happen, with the Prime Minister calling it the biggest overhaul of the water industry in a generation. The report also said there should be greater protection for consumers, stronger environmental regulations and tighter regulations for water companies, promising to cut sewage pollution in half by 2030. Well, last year, United Utilities, the region's biggest water company, made more than 77,800 sewage spills, although overall that was a reduction by 20% compared to the year before. Well, today the company said it was taking time to consider the details of the report. They're investing £13 billion over the next 5 years on improving water and wastewater infrastructure. But not everyone has welcomed this report. The campaign group Surfers Against Sewage likened its findings to putting lipstick on a pig. Well, earlier I spoke to the Save Windermere campaign, who appeared to agree with them.
It just simply isn't enough. It's not the root and branch review that we were promised. You know, when you look at things that they're announcing, like abolishing Ofwat, it's going to make absolutely no difference at all. And one of the kind of key issues or the key reasons that we're in this situation is the fact that these companies are privately owned.
But the government says privatisation would simply be too expensive, costing billions, and improvements can be made, they say, without putting that kind of burden on customers.
If the question is where we are the inevitable consequence of privatisation, no, I don't think it is. And I think the system can and should be made to work.
Well, Sir John Cunliffe said that the state of our water industry is down to underinvestment over many years, and for that reason our bills are now going up. Well, later this week we'll be taking a closer look at pollution on our coastlines.
Judy, thank you very much. Judy Hobson there. Judy talking about something we're going to be doing later in the week. Well, we're going to start a series of reports now looking at the work of one of the country's biggest prosthetic limb centres at Wythenshawe in Manchester. For anyone losing a limb, it is traumatic and life-changing, not just the shock of what's happened, but also how to cope going forward. Our health correspondent, Jill Dummigan, has been given exclusive access to the centre. She's been there a number of times over the past few months, and here's the first of her reports.
It was a Ewing sarcoma when I was 24 years old.
So I lost mine at 9. I was born with spina bifida and I developed osteomyelitis.
We went for the 20-week scan and we got told that she had a condition called fibular hemimelia.
Gangrene started to set in, so yeah, so that's why.
Every year, thousands of people in England undergo a limb amputation.
I twisted my knee out about 3 years beforehand. It was misdiagnosed as a trapped nerve, but by the time we realised it wasn't, there was blood clots that had been forming in the back of my knee.
Turn, lift the foot up.
2 months ago, Martin's left leg was removed above the knee.
Keep your feet a bit wider apart.
Today, he's trying out a practice lim.
It has been hard to start with, just like you wake up in a panic sometimes, like, oh my God, they've taken my leg, and just, you know, it takes a long time to get your head around it. But we're getting used to it. I'm getting used to it.
A lot of people, when they come in here, they're intimidated, they're a little bit anxious, they don't quite know what to expect. Most people come into this room and they want to be able to walk, otherwise they wouldn't be coming here, and we want to be able to support them with that journey.
Hazel's lower leg was amputated last October.
It's not easy. It isn't easy at all. And you have to depend on friends, family. I have to learn to walk all over again. It's a long process, but I will be able to walk properly and be more independent.
Hazel and Martin have many weeks of effort ahead of them. It takes 3 or 4 months of training and strengthening exercises to safely use a prosthetic leg.
People do find it quite challenging. They find that the weight of the device is quite heavy. It swings like a pendulum. It's not part of your body. It's suspended on by materials that can move up and down, that can get caught in the ground, that can twist, rotate.
They'll have the support of a huge team, not just of physiotherapists, but specialists in every physical and psychological aspect of a life change which can be unexpected and traumatic.
Often people have been through kind of the worst time of their lives, and ours is all about trying to get them back to some sense of normality or some sense of being able to achieve things on their own.
This is one of the biggest and best equipped centres in the country. Even here, success is by no means guaranteed.
About 50 to 55% will be issued with a prosthetic leg. Roughly a 50% chance at the below the knee amputation level. The higher you go up to above the knee, it's about less than 1 in 5.
But Hazel and Martin are determined to give it their all.
I feel very confident now about getting one, because I'm quite young now, so I've got a lot of strength still, so it should be good.
I have to do it because I want the prosthetic leg.
And all this week we'll be following the work of the team here as they help them and others regain their independence. Jill Dummigan, BBC North West Tonight at the Manchester Specialised Ability Centre.
It's fascinating insight, isn't it? Thank you to Hazel and to Martin and everyone at the centre who took part and has helped us out. Tomorrow we're going to be looking at the challenges involved in limb fitting and then maintaining the prosthetic limbs. In the meantime, let's move on to sport. Ian is here with us tonight, and Liverpool's spending continues as they get close to another big money signing.
Another, yeah, they've agreed a £79 million deal for Eintracht Frankfurt striker Hugo Ekitike. The 23-year-old Frenchman's expected to arrive in the country tomorrow before signing a 6-year contract. He'll then fly out to join Liverpool's Asia tour later this week. Now, this takes their summer spending past £250 million. Meanwhile, Marcus Rashford has passed a medical at Barcelona ahead of his loan move from Manchester United. That deal, which is for an initial 12 months, includes an option to buy for just over £30 million. Well, it was a miserable round of Super League fixtures for all of our sides apart from Lee Leopards. Warrington's playoff hopes had a setback with defeat to Castleford, while a shock home loss to Hull FC meant second-place Wigan Warriors lost ground in the race for the league leaders' shield. They'll now look to get back on track at home to Catalan Dragons on Friday. Darts World Match Play continues at Blackpool's Winter Gardens later, with North West stars Nathan Aspinall and Luke Humphries already out. It's not all been bad news, though. Warrington's Luke Littler saw off Ryan Searle by 10 games to 2 last night, while Liverpool's Stephen Bunting here edged past Ryan Joyce 10 games to 8. Golf's been in the sporting spotlight these past few days, with the American Scotty Scheffler dominating the Open Championship, which took place at Royal Portrush in Northern Ireland. But now attention turns to Royal Birkdale in Southport, which will host the world's top players, as well as hundreds of thousands of fans when it hosts next year's event. I've been to the course to check on early preparations.
Here at Southport's Royal Birkdale.
On Wednesday morning, we met with our counterparts at Portrush, who talked us through some of the challenges that they've been facing. Marshalling's a very big issue for every Open, and we're quite fortunate here that we've got some very experienced people who've done several Opens before. The presentation of the course, our greenkeeper has been over at Portrush, independent of the committee. He's been working there. It's likely to be the middle of March when they start building grandstands and putting all the tents up and what have you.
Birkdale last hosted the Open in 2017 with Jordan Spieth the winner. It returns with recently made changes.
2026 will be the 11th time that Royal Birkdale has hosted the Open since the Second World War. The 14th hole effectively has dropped out, and instead we've got a brand new par 5, which from here is just over 600 yards, which plays to the green up in the distance.
And that's not the only alteration to the landscape.
The course is obviously extremely good, but from the members' point of view, we always want it to be as good as it can be. So when we appointed new architects, one of the things we asked them to look at was the direction of play of the par threes. And now we've got this new par three, which faces the clubhouse, which aesthetically looks very nice. Everybody agrees it's a damn tough hole.
Ben Campbell is a pro on the Live Tour and played in the 2022 Open.
It's a very special golf course, you know, so much history and things like that. But I think, you know, it's looking forward to seeing a couple of the changes they've made. It's a great test. It tests you in all parts of your game, and yeah, it's going to be come next year. It'll be you know, a great championship.
Are you already excited about next year?
Absolutely brimming with excitement. Yes, it's fantastic when the Open comes.
No, it's pretty special. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice to tee off with Ben and the rest of the crew today.
Where next year's winner will seal the championship title, and who knows, it might yet be Southport's own Tommy Fleetwood.
If Tommy's up there next year, it will be a magnificent tournament anyway, but I think it would just elevate it to something.
He sure will, Rog. I didn't have any shots on the course. I thought it would disrespect the course.
You need a lorry load of balls to play round there. Anything that's not on the fairway is lost in the rough.
Oh, no, I couldn't hit it that far, to be fair. I can manage about 50 yards at most.
Ian, thank you very much. Ian with all the sport for us tonight. Right, we've got the weather with Kay in just a moment. But before that, every year, thousands of tourists visit Merseyside, as you know, to see the home of the Beatles. It brings millions of pounds to the local economy, but it seems that not everyone is happy. And in Wavertree, where George Harrison lived as a youngster, the locals have gone to extremes to put off visitors, apparently. Zoe Toes has been finding out why.
This small cul-de-sac in Wavertree in Liverpool holds a piece of music history.
I don't know.
It's where Beatles legend George Harrison spent his early years. But for some residents, the fame has become a nuisance. Ever since a blue plaque was unveiled last year, more and more tourists have been visiting the street.
I only bring very small groups here, 3 or 4 people, and we always tell our groups, you've got to be respectful. It's a private street. It's got residents in it. If I was living round here and I was woken up every morning by vast crowds, I can see why I might get cheesed off, so we need to find some kind of happy compromise.
Today, a chain has been put up across the unadopted road, blocking access, seemingly in an effort to deter tourists.
I saw it this morning and I was like, what's going on? But yeah, and it's a bit ugly.
Unfortunately, you know, it's just getting very, very busy down here. So we're with the residents, we support the residents, we understand why they've done this, you know, and I think they just need a little break from the chaos, really, you know.
It's incredible the amount that they put up with. You're talking like 100,000 people a year come to the streets. And it's not that they're stopping it. I mean, it makes sense to put the chain up at the top of the street. I'm quite happy with it.
We've spoken to a few residents who didn't want to appear on camera today. One of them told us that a lot more taxi tours have been coming right down the street lately, often late at night, as late as 11 p.m. And they also said that there's been one instance where someone has walked straight into someone's living room when the door was open, and that some people have just had enough. A spokesperson for Historic England said, "We're pleased to hear the plaque is creating local interest, but encourage all visitors to the street to respect that it's in a residential area."
We came from far, far away, and for most of these people, it's the only chance they're going to have in their life to come here. So it is a shame, yeah.
For now, the chain remains in place, and tourists will have to stand at the top of the street to get a glimpse of the humble beginnings of a music legend. Zoe Toes, BBC Northwest Tonight in Liverpool.
Let's get the weather forecast now. Apparently this evening delivered by QT. Not my words. A blatant attempt by Stephen to get Barton in Down Holland on your weather map.
And it totally worked.
Oh.
I mean, all he said was cutie. Yes, Stephen, you're on the map. And you'll be here all week. Thank you for sending that lovely email in. Look at this picture. Really made me chuckle earlier on, out and about in Eccleston, sniffing ready for the rain because we've seen some heavy downpours. Jay up north, more spells of sunshine. But we have had reports of funnel clouds and flash flooding in parts of South Manchester. So thank you for sending your photographs. Keep them coming in and I'll take a look at them through the evening. You can join me on socials or become a BBC weather watcher. So, flash flooding in some parts of the northwest. Not for all, the showers still, but thunderstorms, so you may well hear some lightning, see some lightning rather, hear the thunder. Now, this warning's valid till 9 o'clock tonight, so there are still some out and about. Now, I've slowed down the pressure chart a lot so you can see what's happening. We're in the centre of the low, so if you catch a shower, then they really will be slow moving. They will, though, clear away. And then we get this front starting to push in. Now, that's going to introduce a lot more in the way of cloud and further showers for tomorrow morning. So there'll be a time tonight when it will be dry and fine, but then that cloud will increase. Showery outbreaks have arrived, pushing in as we head during the early hours of the morning. It's going to be a really mild and comfortable night, 13 to 15 degrees. The breeze moderate from the west to northwest. So it will be a cloudy start to your day tomorrow morning and damp for some of us, showers out and about. Not for all, though. And we'll gradually see those pushing further eastwards. May start to see that cloud thinning a little, bit of brightness towards the end of the day. Temperatures between 16 and 19 degrees. Now, let's just head over to Wednesday when it's a very similar start with a lot of cloud out and about. And there will still be some showers, a lot of those over the hills. We should see it brightening up as we head towards the end of the day. Top temperatures around 18 or 19 degrees. A similar day to come on Thursday, but as we head towards the weekend, which is good news for me because I'm going camping, it looks like it will be mostly dry and fine and temperatures ever so slightly on the rise.
Oh, you never know, things might change.
You want it to change, so I'll get wet in your tent.
Just before we go, we've got to say special congratulations this evening to Sheila Dwyer. She's retired after 50 years working at Nazareth House Day Nursery in Lancaster.
Sheila's 66,
Everybody's
so she
been
started
so
there.
great and kind. It wasn't a hard decision for me, but I knew because I get down on carpet and think, oh, crimes, what am I going to do to get up off the floor? So, yes, it's time for me to go.
And she looks beautiful there. She's 66. She started there at 16 and said it was a really big decision to go. And as you saw, she celebrated her retirement with a fabulous graduation ceremony alongside her class. It's beautiful.
66, I mean, it's retirement age, obviously, but it's not that old. But 50 years to
with
get
little kids.
At that, well done, Sheila. You deserve a rest.
You certainly do. Put your feet up.
Thanks for watching. Have a great evening. Good night.
Take care.